In the morning, getting ready for day of classes, we pack our bag. In it, we put the necessities that will help us get through our day successfully. We must do the same when we pack our bags for life. The responsibility to understand, be knowledgeable of, and/or acknowledge all aspects of life in our backpacks is ours. But too often we forget to unpack our very own backpacks with books of stereotypes, documents of privilege, and pencils of identity.
At times, we tend to forget how good that we have it.
You're right. So how about we try to do that less often?
I totally agree.
Alright, so what do you propose?
We can start by defining two base terms of what we're going to be talking about for one.
And those would be?
Cisgender, which is a description for a person whose gender identity, gender expression, and biological sex all align. And also heterosexual, which is a person who is attracted to someone of the opposite sex.
Alright, so if you don't mind me asking, how do you identify?
I identify as a black cisgender woman who is heterosexual, but in society I'm characterized as an emotional individual that is expected to work very little, stay at home, cook, and take care of the children. I'm also stereotyped as bossy, I'm hypersexualized, and my hair is believed to have extensions in it because it's long and because of my ethnicity. So it's hard to believe that I can just have long hair and not be mixed. But who I actually am, I'm a quiet but a really friendly person, and I personally am really nonchalant. I don't really do emotions, so that's not really true. And at some point, I do want to own my own business, own recreational facilities, and the idea of staying at home doesn't appeal to me at all, so that's also not true. My hair is 100% mine, so it doesn't have extensions in it. But what do you identify as?
Well, I identify as a black, cisgender, heterosexual male. And based on society's understanding, I'm supposed to be someone who has a deep voice. I'm supposed to be aggressive, have multiple female sexual partners, not emotional, but strong, independent. And oftentimes, have facial hair, have a larger body structure, larger hands. But most importantly, oftentimes it comes more focused on me being a black male. And with that comes other things. It comes race, gender, and then it's also the aspect of sexuality that opens up doors for privilege and oppression. Things we claim to want to deal with but never really take the time to unpack. We often just continue with our day-to-day activities, forgetting the experiences of others.
Can you think of 5 examples of your cisgender privilege? The cisgender privilege gives the ability to use public restrooms without hassle, the use of public facilities like gyms, locker rooms, and dressing rooms without being looked at or treated in an unwelcoming manner. Strangers don't assume they can ask what your genitals look like or how you have sex. You're not required to undergo psychological evaluation to receive basic medical care, and strangers call you by the name you provide instead of asking what your real name is.
Privilege is one thing, but oppression is something that we must continue to shed light on. We have to understand that with privilege comes oppression, and those who might be privileged in one situation might be oppressed in another. As a black male who identifies as cisgender and heterosexual, most emphasis is placed on me being a black male, and that's where my oppression comes in. I don't like being oppressed as a black male. I don't like the stereotypes nor the negative connotations that come with it, but oftentimes I find myself oppressing and placing stereotypes and negative connotations on others who don't identify in the same lane as me. For example, transgender, transsexuals, bisexuals, people of the LGBT community, we find that they are put to different standards in the sense of they are looked at in a different way.
From a healthcare standpoint, studies have shown that transgender individuals experience discrimination, verbal abuse, sexual assault, and were not treated as people all while being in a doctor's office. But the discrimination doesn't stop there. In 2011, LJ Devereaux, a transgender man in southern New Jersey, was fired from a male-only urinal job which required him to monitor urinalysis of males. Urinalysis is generally conducted with the patient being a male and the monitor being a male, or vice versa for females. LJ was immediately fired on his first day of work because the employer questioned his identity and classified him as a female. LJ identifies as a male on his birth certificate, driver's license, and social security card. So the real question is, why do we as a society become so unaccepting of who people identify themselves as? If someone says that they're male, that's what they are. Or if they say they're female, then that's what they are.
I felt like I've lived my entire life as a lie. I grew up in Charleston, South Carolina, in a Southern Baptist home. I've always been kind of different, and it was always a bad thing in my family, but they never really said anything. Then when the homecoming stuff happened, they were like, you're still not a guy to us, like guys and girls, and it's been really hard. High school's been really hard. To me personally, it made me feel like for once I could just be a normal teenage boy. Just a normal teenage boy, just doing normal teenage guy things. Like being homecoming king. That's a normal teenage boy thing. We all want to do it, kind of, sometimes.
Eventually, it comes a time where we have to deal with things, the things that we really don't want to. A time when we have to unpack our own backpacks. A time when we have to look at ourselves and understand why do we treat people who don't align with us a certain way. We have to understand that openness and awareness is a part of the transition and changing of the times. We have to do better.